Hello everyone, you're now with me, Ruben Gomez, for TVS News at 5. These are the news. The Sarawak government has handed over an additional fund of 2.5 million ringgit to St. Joseph National Middle School in Kuching. Its acting chairman, Chris Chua, said this fund is not the first that was granted. The fund is meant to contribute to SMK St. Joseph's Mill Hill Block Restoration Project.
Total project cost is 5.5. We received 2.5 from the government this time, and earlier the government has given us another 1.5 million, so in total we have received 4 million from the state government.
He explained that the project is being rigorously implemented since August of 2020 and is expected to complete at the end of April 2021. Meanwhile, Kuching Roman Catholic Archbishop Simon Paul said the fund is a sincere contribution of the state government, as his party failed to obtain the required funding in the past year.
So now with this funding, we'll be able to complete the shell, the main restoration of the building, but still classrooms, we need chairs, tables, equipment and so on for our students. So I appeal to the old Josephian, boys and girls this time, to continue to support and give in whatever you can in donations.
Sarawak suffered a 74.2% drop in tourist arrivals between January and December last year, compared to the corresponding period in 2019 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The negative growth was observed with the state only recorded 1.99 million tourist arrivals, compared to 4.62 million in 2019, said Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dato' Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah.
Jauh menurun. Dari segi jumlah penurunan untuk foreigners ni penting. Untuk tahun 2020 yang masuk ke negeri Sarawak hanya 363,304 pengunjung. Kalau dibandingkan dengan tahun 2019, 2.082 juta, 2.082 million. That is really a huge drop. More than minus 82.55%.
Abdul Karim said the lower number of tourist arrivals also saw receipts from tourism drop by 75.12% to 2.88 billion ringgit during this period last year from 11.57 billion ringgit in 2019. To ensure that the tourism sector is not paralyzed, Karim said it is important for the state government to promote domestic tourism products through various campaigns, as well as collaborating with industry players to deal with their conundrum at the moment.
Bergerak orang daripada luar tidak dapat masuk. The only way for us to keep the thing alive is to make sure that the locals are moving around also, to visit the local product, tourism products and all that, also coming over to stay in the hotels. I mean, hotels in Kuching are not just meant for foreigners. Those from Cebu, from Miri, they can come down here.
According to him, last year Sarawak has launched the Siasi Tok Sarawak campaign that would enable Sarawakians and non-Sarawakians with work permits to enjoy the state's tourism products with package discounts of up to 50%. Former President and Chief Executive Officer of Petronas, Tan Sri Wan Zulkiflee Wan Arifin, has been appointed to be on the board of directors of Exxon Mobil Corporation. With this appointment, Exxon Mobil's board now has 11 total members, with the other 10 being independent directors. Exxon Mobil Chairman and CEO Darren Woods said his expertise in the global industry and his insight related to the energy transition will complement the highly experienced board. During his tenure, Petronas reported multiple years of strong results and furthered the company's investment in lower emissions technologies. At this time, Wan Zulkiflee is also the non-executive chairman in the board of Malaysia Airlines Berhad and DRB Highcom Berhad. He is also involved in several initiatives that are focused on education and public sector leadership. Legendary comedian Dato' Jamali Shaddad passed away at his residence in Kampong Sungai Pinang, Pulau Indah, Port Klang at 8:30 a.m. today. He was 78.
Atan, kau punya bapa mana? Itu dia baru keluar dia boleh make up. Alamak tuan, dia perempuan punya dekat dia sudah second lah. Ayo, kalau kau punya mana nampak, dia lenyek sama kau punya bapa.
The sad news of the passing of the man who will always be remembered for his Atan voice was confirmed by his grandson, Ishraq Arif Zalul Arif. Ishraq Arif said Jamali Shaddad will be laid to rest in Pulau Indah later today. Jamali Shaddad was a household name in the 1970s and was able to mimic voices easily into that of Atan, a boy, Atan's grandfather Ato, and the boy's friends who were made up of various races. His ability to make jokes in Mandarin, Javanese and Tamil in his comedy routines made him a big hit among the multiracial population of Malaysia. Welcome back. An estimated of 16,000 ringgit worth of contraband cigarettes were disposed in Kuching. Kuching District Chief Assistant Police Commissioner Awangdin Awanggani said the items included 1,250 cartons of non-taxable cigarettes. He added the items were exhibits after investigation were completed under the Custom Act 1967. The items were handed over during the handing over ceremony witnessed by Kuching South City Council Mayor Datuk Wee Hong Sang and Lower Court Registrar Aida Montong, together with other senior officers at the Kuching District Headquarters, to Trinican's representatives for disposal. A 24-year-old man narrowly avoided theft after getting pinned in the conveyor machine at a factory in Samalaju Industrial Park, Bintulu on Wednesday.
According to a spokesperson of Sarawak Bomba Operations Centre, an emergency call was received at around 3:45 Wednesday morning. A 5-man team was then immediately dispatched to the location. Upon arrival, the victim was found unconscious, pinned in the conveyor machine at the factory. After an inspection was carried out, the Bomba personnel used a hydraulic telescopic ram to loosen the pinch before successfully bringing the victim out. The victim was then handed over to the factory safety team before being rushed to Bintulu Hospital for treatment.
A man has died after being involved in a crash with a lorry near the Gedong Junction at kilometre 68 Serian to Siraman Road.
Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Alexon Nagachabu said the 71-year-old deceased was identified as Lai Pian Kim, who hailed from Simunjan. In the 8:15 a.m. incident on Wednesday, the victims who was travelling from Gedong towards Serian in a van made an exit from the junction before it crashed into the lorry laden with gas cylinders bound to Cebu. Alexon pointed out that the impact of the collision caused the victim to suffer severe injuries to the head and leg and was pronounced dead at the scene by paramedics. The lorry driver, however, was unharmed during the incident. The case is being investigated under Section 41 of the Road Transport Act 1987. Meanwhile, Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department received a distressed call on the accident at 8:32 a.m. 11 personnel from the Serian Fire Station to the scene. Bomba personnel managed to extricate the driver, who was found pinned in his seat. The body has since been handed over to the police for further action.
The High Court today sentenced former Felda Chairman Tan Sri Muhammad Isa Abdul Samad to a total of 54 years in prison and a fine of 15.45 million ringgit, in default 18 years jail. He was found guilty of 9 counts of corruption involving 3 million ringgit over the agency's purchase of Merdeka Palace Hotel Suites in Kuching, Sarawak.
The former Negeri Sembilan Menteri Besar was sentenced to 6 years jail on each count of the charges. However, Muhammad Isa, 71, only has to serve 6 years in prison after Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali ordered the prison sentences to be served concurrently. Judge Muhammad Nazlan, when handing down the sentence, said it was a lesson for the accused and also to deter others from committing a similar offence. Judge Muhammad Nazlan allowed Muhammad Issa's application for a stay at the execution of the jail sentence and fine pending the disposal of his appeal at the Court of Appeal. The judge said the court was satisfied that Muhammad Issa had succeeded in establishing special circumstances for the stay application to be allowed.
Manchester United equalled an English Premier League record by putting 9 goals past a 9-man Southampton. The second time the Saints had lost 9-0 in as many seasons. A red card for the Saints' Alexander Jankovic after only 2 minutes triggered a complete collapse for the visitors who were on the end of the same scoreline against Leicester City in October 2019. It is only the third time a team had lost a 9-0 in the Premier League, with United also beating Ipswich Town by that margin in 1995. Aaron Wan-Bissaka opened the scoring with his first goal at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford and Edinson Cavani also found the net either side of a Jan Bednarek on goal before the break. After a fairly drab start to the second half, United cut loose, scoring 5 times in the final 21 minutes. Anthony Martial ended an 8-match goal drought before Scott McTominay drove home from the edge of the area. Then, after Bednarek became the second Saints player to be sent off for bringing down Martial to allow Bruno Fernandes the chance to score from the penalty spot on 87 minutes, the French forward netted his second before then James wrapped up the scoring in stoppage time. Well, that's conclude the news at 5. Ruben Gomez, anytime, anywhere.